So welcome to Fit with Toro Fitness Podcast, and today I have actually an amazing episode for you. I have Eric Roberts. So Eric is, I met him a couple of years ago in same membership or mentorship coaching, and he was at that time still pretty small guy, was not famous or anything, and now he have grown a lot, and he's one of the guys who I look up, and I'm excited to have him as a guest here and to have a chat. And so first of all, thank you for your time, and Eric, and welcome to my show. So tell me a little bit about who you are and what you are doing if somebody doesn't know you yet.
Yeah. First off, man, just thank you for having me on. I appreciate you taking time out of your day and just even reaching out and all that kind of stuff. It means the world to me, man. I don't think of myself as famous or anything like that. So like, I'm just a regular guy like anybody else, man. But no, so I'm a personal trainer. I started off, so, kind of like my journey, my spiel is probably around the age of roughly like 16 ish. I started to get really obsessed with fitness in a good way. It wasn't in a bad way. It was in a good way. I was really obsessed with just like, bettering myself and changing my body and getting stronger and building muscle and learning about fitness and all these things. Right. And it kind of started off as like, I wanted to change my body. I was always so enthralled about the people who like could build these muscles and these bodybuilders. And I was like, this is so sick. I love this. And like to this day, I still do love that. But it quickly started to change up for me a bit, because like I quickly started to realize like fitness has always been and will always be for me the one thing that like there's no way around getting out of like doing the hard work. And the only way you're going to succeed with anything in this is by doing the hard work. It's by showing up. It's by sticking to your nutrition. It's by getting the workouts in. Like I often say, you can't like buy a body, like, and of course, like whatever, plastic surgery, whatever. Right. But like, you can't buy a healthy, sustainable body forever. Right. And that was one of the things that really spoke to me, because I love that. Like, I love the work ethic. And I try to really incorporate a lot of that like hard work mentality, things like self-discipline, things like you're not going to be motivated every single day, things like, you're going to have days where it sucks, but you got to push through anyway, and all that kind of stuff. And that's something I take a lot of pride in. And fitness was always that thing for me where I could like have that as an outlet. And I just like, I just loved it. I love learning about it. I love doing it. And quickly, I also realized like I loved helping people with it, because one of the biggest things, like when I would go like work out with my friends and stuff, I would often like, I would get so much more joy out of like them like hitting a PR, or like them getting in shape, or them like even loving the gym. Like I love the gym. Like it was just really cool for me. And so I knew like I wanted to do something, something with fitness. And about when I was roughly 20 years old. I just turned 26 right now. And so when I was 20 years old, I started training people in person, where I kind of live now, and did that for about 3.5 years. I ran kind of like a program where at any point in time, there was anywhere between like 200 to 300 people kind of like inside of my program every single month. And so, do coach 200 to 300 people every like 6 days a week, every single week for 3.5 years. I met a lot of people. I learned a lot of things about coaching, a lot of things about training, a lot of things about nutrition, a lot of things about what people struggle with the most. I learned a lot of things about how to coach people, how to communicate with people, how to make sure, like, because most people know like how to like eat healthier and exercise. Like we all pretty much fucking know that, right? But like, how do we get somebody to actually do that in the way, the style you communicate in, and like, having this kind of like emotional intelligence, and also just basic things like how to coach a squat, how to coach a deadlift, so the average individual can learn and can understand it and can kind of, be able to perform and execute these movements safely, properly, all that kind of stuff. So did that for about 3.5 years. And then obviously, in March of 2020, COVID hit, and like, obviously we were not training people in person anymore. So that was kind of my time where it was like, hey, I've always wanted to, kind of like do my own training. I've wanted to own my own business, do those kind of things. And that was my time. I had, at the time, I had 2 clients online that were paying me $100 each. So my income was $200. So I went down to basically next to no income. And that was my time to either make it happen or I don't know what the fuck I was going to do. So that was pretty much it. Ever since then, I've gone just full force into like, online training. Obviously I'm doing things like social media. I've been doing things like I have a podcast, doing things like Instagram, doing things like TikTok, writing articles, doing YouTube videos, like just every single day. And, been coaching clients online ever since. And, we're about 2.5 years later. And yeah, we kind of are where we are now.
Yeah, amazing. That's great to know. I didn't know like that you were actually you started from so small, and you started basically 2.5 years. And now, if you said that you started, you don't have to tell your numbers if you don't mind. But if you said that 2.5 years ago you started with 2 clients, you had a Instagram, TikTok you didn't even do probably, or Instagram, no social media presence, nothing, and you started from zero. And what you have created now, like, I don't know even your numbers, like you have over 1.1 million followers in TikTok, 220,000 I saw in Instagram, like podcasts, I don't know how many downloads, like probably, do you know your numbers, how many downloads you have in your podcast? You have no idea.
It's funny. I have no idea, man. I have no idea, because I don't do it for those reasons. Like, I don't do it for the vanity reasons. I don't do it for the down. I just do it because, number one, I enjoy it. And number two, I just hope it helps people. So like, people, they often ask me that question, like, oh, how many people listen to your podcast? I don't even know how to check it, let alone know. I don't even know how to check how many people download or listen to my podcast. I have no clue. I just hope it helps people, man. And I kind of judge all that kind of stuff just based upon like, how many messages do I get? How many emails do I get? How many people reaching out to me saying, hey, this really helped me? Like, that's the kind of way I measure all this kind of stuff, because you can have 1 million followers or 1,000 followers, but if you're like truly helping people, and I think like helping people get better, because I think we as a society, we need to get better. And I think like, if you're helping people get better, that's like, that's the way I kind of judge the quote unquote success of all that.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Like I'm exactly the same. I don't track, like, it was probably in the beginning, like when you started to social media, it was important. You were looking how many likes you got, how many comments, and trying to get that. But now, it's something what really doesn't matter. And what matters more, if you get like thousands of likes or comments. But if you get one message, who is somebody's like writing a bit longer message and telling basically that you have changed somebody's life, that is like, I might cry. I might, it sounds stupid, but that's the ultimate reason. That's the ultimate reason why you are doing everything what you do. And that's what I wanted to ask you. Like, what is your, like, what you are talking a lot about, like, believing yourself, like that. You said that your goal is to get your clients, your audience, or your people you are trying to impact, believing themselves. How do you make that to yourself? Did you ever struggle with believing yourself?
What's funny, man, no, never. Because I was, I guess, whether you call it DNA or I had great parents who, obviously I had both sides of the spectrum. My mom was always the person who, oh, honey, you can do whatever you want. Love you so much. Like, you're the best. And like, that was amazing. She's always caring, always supportive. And then, my dad was the same way, but he was more like, hey, like, yeah, you can, but like, you got to put the fucking work in, so to speak. Right. And like, I remember when like, all that stuff happened in, March of 2020, he was basically just like, hey, if you want to do this, here you go. You're gonna have to work your ass off, but this is your opportunity. And, so I grew up always like believing in myself. Like, even now, like, you're talking about like whoever follows me or whatnot, clients, business, money, whatever. Like, I always knew it was going to happen. I didn't exactly know how I was going to do it, or I didn't know. What I just knew was I was never going to quit. Like, I would literally die before I reach my, like, if you'll have to kill me before I like don't reach my goals. Like, that's just the bottom line for me. I'll do whatever I have to do in whatever capacity, work however many hours. Like, I'll do whatever I have to fucking do. It's just the bottom line. So for me, I was always like, well, if that's the case, then I'll get there eventually. I don't know when I'll get there or how I'll get there or whatever the case may be, but yeah, I'll get there eventually. And that's always something I've wanted for people, because, one of the reasons why, like, so when I was coaching people in person, I actually just filmed the video on this today, but I remember this one story. I'll never forget this. I told this one girl, I was like, hey, go pick up that 100-pound kettlebell and, do deadlifts, because we were doing deadlifts. And she was like, what the fuck are you talking about? There's no way I can lift that. And I was, maybe I was a little bit of an asshole. I was like, hey, just go do it. Like, I don't care. Like, just go fucking do it, basically. And she did. She went and she did it. And she did it for like 8 solid reps. And she just crushed it out. And I was like, why did you think you couldn't do that? She was like, I don't know. I just thought I couldn't fucking do it. And I was like, well, and that's the thing for me. I hate when people put these like self-limiting beliefs or glass ceilings on themselves for no reason, and again, whether it's because the way they were parented or whatever the case may be, that's a whole different story. But yeah, we can do anything we fucking want to. And I really, and I think fitness for me is the avenue to get people to understand that. Like, of course I help people lose body fat, get stronger, workouts, all these things. But like all of that to me is a really bigger avenue to really just help people like understand, like, you can, as long as you're willing to fight and as long as you're willing to never give up, like, you'll get there eventually. It's going to take time. You're going to fall. There's going to be ups and downs, but you'll get there eventually. And I've always had a lot of calm and peace knowing that. Like, I just know, again, like I said, I'll do whatever I have to do. And as long as people know that and they are willing to do that, anybody can achieve whatever you want to achieve. And I think fitness is just a great avenue to allow that to happen.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. You couldn't not say it better. Like that, it's what I think that many people, what they are struggling, like that you are really like there are situations like I'm sure, like I remember when I started to do some videos first time, like I was scared like hell. It was not coming naturally from me, like to do something, and then like then you get those doubts like about yourself, that am I good enough? Is this going to really work? Is this going to help somebody? And then I was at least, I remember still, it's a true story. Like when I did my first video or something, I don't know, I took like 100 times it. I was so nervous, I couldn't put it on, and then the only thing I had to have one beer, that I was like a little bit more relaxed, then it started to come more naturally. And that's when I was like years ago when I did my first. But then there was always like English is not my mother language. Am I going to do it? I live in Italy, German speaking part, speaking like 4-5 languages. What language I'm going to do? There are so many, like if you think like these were my struggles, but people, if they are trying to lose weight or something, there are so many things you hear, like that you should do keto, you should go intermittent fasting or whatever. But then you are kind of not knowing what to do. But ultimately, like you said, that you have to make that one decision, say that is where I want to be, where I go, and then just get started, just doing it, and kind of like going all in. Like that was I don't know how it was for you. Like I think you can relate, because you told about COVID. Like it was kind of situation that you had to do that. You had to go all in for your business, or you had 2 clients, you had a $200 a month income, so you had to. It was same thing for me when I got started. I lost my job, what I was doing before, and I gotta do it. I gotta make as a personal trainer my living, and there, like, you find a way if you want. But if you have too many, like you are too comfortable with everything, like that, like those kind of things that would be nice to lose weight, would be nice to make some progress. But if you are not really going 100% all in, it's once it's getting hard, because there will be always days that you don't feel like doing anything. Like, I don't know, maybe you are natural talent, but at least I feel there are several days like that. Today I'm not going to work out, but I'm going to. I do it anyway. I'm not going to do. I do, instead of 3 videos, I do only 2. But then, it's just going like that. You do what you got to do. You made promise for yourself, just to keep your promise first, and then you keep going.
Yeah. But yeah, like, no, I'm not a natural talent. No, like, no, it's, listen, I would say honestly, more days than not, like you wake up and you're like, fuck, like, all right, we got to do this again. Like, all right, let's get after it. And if you go back, if anybody goes back and watches like my first videos, I fucking suck. Like, if you listen to my first podcast, they're terrible. Like, I remember the first video I made on Instagram. It was like, I kind of said, I was like, hey, I'm going to start making fitness content. I don't really know exactly what the hell I'm doing. Like, I literally just laid it all out. And like, I was so nervous. I couldn't even look at the camera. And then I leave the video up on my Instagram. It's still there. Like, I couldn't even look at the camera because I'm like, I'm scared shitless. But again, it's like, I just decided I was going to do whatever I had to get to my goals. And like, I knew I wasn't going to be perfect. To this day, I'm not perfect. Nobody is perfect, right? And again, I still have days where wake up and don't want to make content, don't want to work out, don't want to do all this stuff. But like, I don't know, for me, when I really break it down, and this is what I try to do a lot with myself and my clients, like when I really break it down and like think about it, for me to not reach my goals because I just don't feel like it that day, that's unacceptable to me. Like, to me, that's unacceptable because you just don't feel like it. You're going to like, your future self is going to be then, delegated to less, and you're not going to reach your fullest potential because you just don't feel like it that day. Like, it's just not acceptable to me. But again, like you said, like maybe there is days where I only do 2 videos instead of 1, or there's days where I have a okay workout instead of a great workout. But the whole point is like, you still kept moving forward and you still kept pushing. So I think it's a great point you made. Yeah. And like, no, I'm not anything special, I can assure you. No.
no, because that's what I thought. Like, it's funny to hear these all kind of stories, how you get started, like how things can change like really fast. You never know when it's going to happen. Like, it's the same thing with the weight loss. It's what I love to say for my clients, who are starting. They start to do something like sustainable, not going to some fat diet, and then it comes that after a month or even 2 months, it might take even longer, you are not losing weight, you are not seeing progress. What to do? And then that's the moment, like that. It's always like that. It's not always going as fast as you would like, but I say always that it's if it's for fat loss 6 months to a year, that you get what you deserve. And if there is something wrong, that you don't get what you deserve, then there might be something wrong with you. But in a long term, it's same with like a fitness content. You have been like 2.5 years. That's amazing what you have achieved. And it's in a long term. You get every day. You are not going to get viral. You don't get so much attention every single day. But once you keep those reps in, at some point it will happen. It's only a matter of time, not matter of if. And that is just, it just tells how important it is to put that work in, put that effort in. And like you said, that once you keep going, it will happen. So about I wanted to ask your reasons. Like you said you said something about your goals, like what goals you have, and what when you started. Like, probably you have now different goals than it was 2 years ago. I would say that in 2 years ago, I'm pretty sure you couldn't imagine, maybe it was your goal, but to say that you start from zero in a year, or how long it took, 1.5 years, that you have over 1 million followers, or whatever your goal was. But tell a little bit about your goals.
Yeah, what's funny, man? And it's funny, I've talked to Jordan Syatt about this too. We go back and forth a bit, and it's funny because I don't know if I can really quantify my goals in terms of like an outcome-based goal, because I've never really thought of it like an outcome-based goal. I've never really thought of it as like I want to make X amount of money, or I want to have X amount of followers. Like, I've never thought of it like that. For me, what I really, and I literally every single night I go to bed, I think about this. I'm like, for me, I just have an obsession with like trying to fulfill my potential as much as possible. Like that for me is my biggest thing. And like, I have, like, for example, every single day, and nobody's going to see this because it's a podcast, but every single day I have things I write down that I have to check off every single day. And I have literally like 18 books of this fucking book right here. Every single day I check my daily actions, right? So I have daily actions that I have to get done every single day, no matter what. So like, those are my action-based goals to lead to, whether you want to call it business, whether you want to call it fitness, whatever you want to call it. I have like action-based goals, but my outcome-based goals, I don't necessarily know if I even know. I just want to be able to tell myself that I go to bed every single night doing the absolute most that I could that day, and I'm getting closer to fulfilling my potential, which, like, I think I don't know if I'll ever do that, but I think that's the fun part for me, because like I can always get better. I can always try to, again, get better with content, get better as a coach, get better in my own fitness. Like it's just that it's that drive for me to try to reach almost like that unattainable goal, which is why, like you spoke about, like, I could never imagine this. I don't know if I could ever imagine this, but like, it's more just like nothing is impossible, I guess, if that makes sense. So for me, it's just like, well, keep going. Like, why stop now? Like like, keep going. Cause I just want to, like, how far can I take this? And how many people, I guess one of the biggest things for me is how many people can I impact? I think that is a really big thing for me, because I want to help people. Like I said, I have this, and I've had this for a while, like I said, but like growing up, I believed I could do whatever the fuck I wanted. And like, it was going to take a lot of work, but I truly did believe that. And, I want people to have that same feeling, because it's a very freeing feeling. It's a very empowering feeling. And it's not just in fitness, but it's in everything in life. Right. So that's, if I had to give like an outcome-based goal, I think that's just my biggest thing. I want to continue to just help people as much as possible. And like, I guess, again, like, helping people does, I guess, the more followers you have, or the more whatever you have, you can help more people, right? So I guess like that could be an outcome-based goal, but I don't really have any like, oh, I got to hit this or I got to hit that. I'm just like, show up every single day, put the work in, and like, you're going to get to wherever you want to be because you put the work in every day.
Oh, I love it. That's I think I'm actually pretty much same. I don't have any money-based goal or follower-based goal or anything. It's just everything. It feels like that. It's obviously you more money your business create, more people you can help. So it's obviously it helps also. But once when you have kind of all covered, like I'm not a guy who needs to like have a fancy car or living somewhere like that. I don't need it. What I once you have a decent food, you have everything is well with the family and your loved ones, and you have food. That's enough. I'm not buying some clothes or that kind of stuff, but it's what matters is that when you get those like messages, I often get emotional with clients, their stories, like how much they have reached and how much they, if you can really change somebody's life, like maybe they got like a couple more years, or I had just one of my coaching clients talked yesterday, like she came to me, actually she won free coaching. So she started with the free coaching client, and then she got 3 months free coaching, and now has been working 3 months as a paid client. But actually her big goal was to get she had overweight and get to fertility treatment and to get children. And now she got finally message that she have lost 20 pounds. Now doctor is giving go, and those are like kind of those are kind of things like that, and I'm just waiting that one day that she's actually getting pregnant, getting that baby, those kind of things, like how you can literally change somebody's life by not doing same things than before, and those kind of things, that's what really matters, and not if you make some easy buck there or get 150 likes or 1,500 likes. It really doesn't matter that much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think people, just really quickly on that, I think people often underestimate how much they can do that in their own life, because like, you don't need 1 million followers. You don't need like all this fame to be able to impact your neighborhood, impact your school, impact your kids. If you impact your kids, they're going to impact the kids around them, and then the next generation growing. It's this huge spiderweb effect. But people think that if they don't have 1 million followers, they can't make an impact. No, you are the change that you want to see. And so these people, like, you have a voice, and you are the leader within your own house, your own community, your own wherever, your own life. Like, so I think it's a great point. Like, people, anybody can do that, man.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that is like you are going to work like it's the same client again, with a good story. Like she started to give advices for her co-workers in the community to have a more protein at breakfast. What she learned, like small things, and telling like examples, and talking about strength training. And then like somebody started because of her some to change life, and that is how that thing is going. Like you can, everybody can impact. It's not like I know that when you are making content, or if we make, as a content creator, we make content. You don't make content for a million people. You make content for one person, because you try to help at least one. And if you are able to do that, that's enough. It have helped. If it's helping for one person, that's enough. And it's same with advices you give. You can encourage somebody, like what I talk a lot of with my clients too, that give compliments. If you think that how important it is, like for somebody who is not, it's probably like trying to lose weight, not seeing too much progress, but then somebody is giving honest, obviously it has to be honest, but compliment that wow, you are looking better. Are you doing something? And then you say that, yeah, I kind of do, but I haven't lost any scale weight, but yeah, clothes are kind of fitting better. But that could be the game-changing thing for somebody else to keep going.
I agree, man.
So what about when you said that those your reasons? I wanted to go a little bit deeper, like what you said, that, because that is kind of like to be honest, it's when you said like you sound like that you are kind of super man or something like that. You are obviously no, but it's I mean like that, because there are, like, I know you work with a lot of people, and when there are those days that you are not motivated, like what is your reason is like something like because that's why I kind of admire you, like that you are just doing, like, because I know how much you are working, like that is all what you are putting out, how much content you put out, how many people you are working, like that is not it's not that you work like 3 hours a day. It's a lot of work, and like writing articles, doing podcasts, being guests in podcasts, and communicating with clients. So what is it for somebody, like let's talk about first about you, like because I actually did this kind of training, like how to find your ultimate why you are doing it, because it all starts from there. If that your why is not strong enough, what you are going to do, you are going to, at some point you are going to say that, now fuck it, I'm quitting.
Yeah, I think it's a great point. You're right. You have to have that why. I think a few things that I've mentioned previously, in the past 20 minutes here, 30 minutes. Number one, again, I'm really big on two big things, which is like, number one, if I don't go to bed that night knowing that like I've done everything I could, I won't be able to go to bed. Like I will be sick to my stomach knowing that like, oh, you could have done this. And you can always play that game of like, there is always more I can do. There's more more everybody can do. Right. But like, I know. And I think that's one of the biggest things is I'm not sitting here like judging myself, because like there's days where there's days where I have some things and I'm like, maybe I do get them done, but whether they aren't the way I want or just whatever the case may be, it's like, I'm not a perfect human being. And it's not like I don't have days where like, it's not hard. Like I absolutely have those days. And like, there are days where I'm like, dude, you could have done a lot fucking more that day. But like, I just want to know that I'm working towards, again, being achieving the ultimate potential that like because we can do so much. And like one of the things, and I don't know whether like one of the things I have to think about, and I've always thought this growing up, I'm like, I take rappers for example, right? Like rappers, they come like a lot of rappers come from like very not good situations, right? Like they're but they somehow get to a place where they have these riches, right? And it's not just monetary, but we'll just use that. They get to the place where they're very successful and they have, they have the music industry, they have this, they have that. And I'm like, literally anybody can do this. It's fascinating to me to think about like how people can reach their fullest potential. And I think like often, like we'll take the dad bod, for example, like that's almost like oh, don't work hard, don't put in effort, like, oh, you have a dad bod, like that's cool nowadays, like whatever you look like, that's fine. But like I think that takes away from people wanting to work hard. Like I put out a podcast recently which has gotten by far the most, and this is like people talk about people like my podcast, this podcast has gotten by far the most feedback I've ever gotten from a podcast in my entire life. I've been doing podcasts for I think almost 4 years now, and it was literally all about working hard and like, putting in a lot of effort and taking pride and taking accountability, all those things. And so for me, it's like, I'm very just big on like, how far can you take this? And are you willing to accept that you didn't reach your goal of fulfilling your potential because, again, like I said, because you had a day where you just didn't feel like it. Like I there was a day recently where just some shit happened with the business and whatever. And I was like, dude, what the fuck, man? I'm like, God damn, can I catch a fucking break today? But it's like, am I going to let that one thing then derail the rest of my day, the rest of my week, because that's what most people do. They let like one bad thing derail the rest of their day. They could like spill their fucking coffee in the morning and like the whole day is ruined all because they spilled their coffee, or their whole day is ruined because they didn't weigh what they wanted to on the scale. It's like, so the rest of the other 16 hours you're awake, you're going to have a shitty 16 hours because of one thing, right? So for me, it's just like those days where you're not feeling it, man. Like those days are the days where you either fail or you succeed. Like, it's just the bottom line. Like, either you're going to show up and do the things you have to do and really push through that. Cause like, I almost look at those days as like, almost as a positive thing, because if you can get through those days, you are going to get to your ultimate goal, because you become unstoppable at that point. Because if you can do good when everything's going good, then like, cool, like you're rocking and rolling. But if you can also do good when things are fucking a shit show, well, if you can do good either one of those two times and everything in between, you're unstoppable now, because now you can do good no matter what else is going on. Where the emotions are this wave up and down, up and down, up and down, your actions remain consistent, and then you'll win, which is a big thing for me. I want to win. You'll win no matter what. So I think like that's a big thing for me. And also, again, it's like I want people to feel the same way I feel. I was gonna say you deserve to live a great life. You deserve to live a great life if you put the work in. And I think everybody is willing to put the work in. It's just we have to get people in the correct mindset to get there. So I think like it's unacceptable for me not to live a life of greatness and just fulfillment and pride and achievement. And I want everybody to do that. Like I want every single human being to have that, because if we all do that, society would be fucking amazing. Like we're all just walking around being fucking beasts, and like everybody's achieving great shit, and we're taking a lot of pride, and we're working very hard. Like that's really cool for me. Like, so to be able to hopefully help people do that, like that's a very, very big thing for me. So I think those, without ranting too much longer, those two things for me are kind of like what are on my mind a lot.
No, those I love it, and it's usually to go back like those days, usually they are the most important ones. Those days like when most people are skipping the workout, like you are not feeling it, something happened in the work with the kids, with the family, you should do 1 hour workout, you have 15 minutes, and you said that today I skip it. But that is the first thing what you do, that you keep those promises especially when you are starting. Like then it's okay if you are working out consistently 5 to 6 times, okay, but that time you probably won't. It's easier to do your workout than skip your workout. But if you are in a phase that it's easier you are always giving those excuses for yourselves that today happened with this, with the kids and whatever, it's a valid reason to skip it. I'm not going to say, and I know you won't say it either, but think like, what is always the simplest thing you can do? Can you, like, instead of saying that I'm not going to do anything, think that, can you change your workout clothes? If that feels like that it's too much, you can always change your clothes. And if that is everything you can do on that day, then you said, okay, I don't do anything more today. I repeat it tomorrow. Do maybe 1 push-up, 1 squat, tie your running shoes. And like it feels so ridiculous, small thing, but that is especially in the beginning, like that is so important to first to learn to keep those promises you make for yourself, and then later on it's a lot easier. Like that's how I love to start. I used to start like with my online coaching clients. Like I'm sure people, when they contact for a coach, they are excited, they are ready to put work in, and they are somebody it might sound a good idea to get results a bit faster, that you are starting from zero, you want to work out every single day. And I when I was a younger coach, I was more than happy to do it. And when you put the workout program for somebody who haven't done anything for past decade, and you put them to work out 6 times a week, was first week doing great, like every place hurting, but then what happened after 2 weeks? You didn't get messages, they were not doing anything, they were quitting. And then I was like, fuck, what is they are not motivated, they don't want to get the work done. But that's the thing, like that when you start doing too much, it's going to be too much and you are going to quit. And that's why how I changed it. Like now I want first that it's take a little bit less what you actually think you are able to do. Like it's always tempting to do a bit more, especially if you hire a coach and you want to get most out of that buck what you are paying. So but think it like that, make a first goal to stay consistent no matter what for 30 days. And then if you still feel like it, then it's time to start adding things.
Mm-hmm. I literally this morning or this past week, but this morning, one of my clients, emailed me and literally right now, what I have her doing is taking a 10-minute walk per day and eating 1 piece of fruit. We just started with the 10-minute walk. That was our thing. And she messaged me. She was like, Eric, I'm not going to lie. I'm having these thoughts of like, is this really enough? Like, is this really going to make a difference? And it was just interesting because the last 3 days she had gotten a 10-minute walk every single day. And that was our only goal. Our goal wasn't to track calories or get workouts or whatever. But from her doing that 1 10-minute walk, she was also sending me pictures of like her food and stuff. And she was like having these really good meals. She was getting, her 10-minute walks would turn into 25-minute walks and she was crushing it. And her nutrition was in check. And she's like, I don't feel like it's enough. And I'm like, what most people don't understand is, again, this is not about being perfect. This is literally about being consistent. And most people just don't actually understand what that means. And so let me paint this picture for you. This individual started with her one goal was to take a 10-minute walk. That's it. That was her only goal. But then because she did that 10-minute walk, she felt better physically and mentally from a standpoint of she physically felt better because like she was walking, her endorphins were going, like everything was going good. She also mentally felt better because she made a promise and she stuck to it. As opposed to if she had tried to make a promise of tracking calories, getting a 60-minute workout, hitting her protein, doing all these things, and she didn't do it, well, now she feels like a failure. And if you feel like a failure, you're not going to want to keep going, right? So she hit this 10-minute walk and she physically and mentally felt great. Do you not think that's going to bleed into the other areas of your life with nutrition? For example, like I said, she had a great day of nutrition. There was no goals with nutrition at all whatsoever, but because she got that 10-minute walk in the morning, that changed the trajectory of the rest of her day because she felt proud, she felt accomplished, she felt fulfilled, she felt like she was on the right track. All from that 10-minute walk. And so the rest of her day was positively impacted by that 1 10-minute walk. And so when you feel like something isn't enough, it's fucking enough. And you need to do that thing consistently because again, this comes back to, she's now done that every day for 3 days. We're on the 4th day. Now I said, all right, cool. Add in 1 piece of fruit. And that's when she was like, I don't feel like this is enough, Eric. I'm like, you just had 3 great days, didn't you? She's like, yeah, they were pretty good. I'm like, why did we have those 3 great days? Well, I started with a 10-minute walk each day and you felt, and obviously we went back and forth and she's like, yeah, I felt really good. I felt better. I felt proud. I didn't feel like I was a failure. I didn't feel like I wasn't doing enough. I didn't feel like I wasn't reaching my goals. And so the rest of that time she felt good. And so now she's stacking wins. And I guarantee before you know it, we're going to be 2, 3, 4 weeks in and she's going to be just absolutely fucking crushing it all by these little things. And so hopefully that helps somebody out there where it's like, you need to understand like, these little things are the things that add up over time. Like, I don't know who watches sports or whatever, but like if you're playing soccer, you don't fucking like go from the midline and just fucking try to score goals every single fucking time. It's like very surgical. You're doing these things back and forth. You're passing here, passing there, setting this up. Like it's very little by little, these things add up. And that's the same thing with this right here is these things add up if you just give yourself the opportunity to get them by not quitting. I think that's the biggest thing.
No, that's exactly like it's you have to like that. It's what you get with the social media nowadays. That it's kind of like that. You have to do like 3 times strength training per week. You have to do cardio. You have to track your calories. You have to hit your protein. No, that's everything. Like if you are getting everything on spot, that is very, very advanced form of nutrition, advanced form of exercise, and you have to start where you are, and not if you try to get everything. Like that's what I like, especially with the nutrition and everything. Like I love to use that example, like that if your goal is like, when you start with the exercise, it's a lot easier for people to understand, like because when you are, especially if you go for your dieting history, like your dieting history, and you are used to that. Now I wait Monday, it's going to get started, or next month or next year, or whenever after a holiday, you kind of always push it, and then it's like that. Now I cut all sugars, I cut all carbs, I cut whatever you are doing, like every time something different. But no, that's the wrong way. Like it's the best way to be sure that you are going to fail at some point. But if you think it like as an exercise, like if you are not a big runner, you are not going to run a lot, and your goal, you set a goal that you want to go to a marathon, and everybody understands that you are not going to, you go to buy your running shoes and you are not going to start to run 42 kilometers for first time. You understand, no, that's probably going to be 2 months. You start with a minute, you maybe walk, then next time you add a little bit more when you start to feel better. And it's exactly the same thing with nutrition. Like you start with the small, like you said, I love that example, like that you bring your clients for here, that it's not like I had a clients exactly same. We started only with walking. I said, forget feeling guilty that you didn't, like if you know that you don't go to gym, it's tempting. You get the coach, you pay for that accountability. But if you don't start where you are, go for first just building that one habit. And once you have accomplished that, you feel like you said, you feel like that you are winning, you are on winning streak. Like you are telling yourself that one more day. Like that's what I love to use always for my clients and for myself, that I'm not going to quit today. I'm just today, do it for today, and then tomorrow we'll see. But today is not going to be the day. And same thing with nutrition. That's what I love, that if you start with just your day with the walk, it's how big it's not going to happen probably every day. Your nutrition is not going to be on spot every single day, but you have a lot bigger chances to have a success when you start your day like that.
I agree, dude. Yeah.
Awesome. So what is like for your clients, like how you are using, what kind of measurements you are using, like to measure progress? Like what is, if for somebody like, I'm sure that people, like if you set a weight loss goal, like you want to lose, let's say 20 pounds or 50 pounds, how you are actually, what is sustainable weight loss, and how to set those goals?
Mm-hmm. So I think it as always, it depends on the individual. If I have somebody coming to me who, they're 350 pounds and like they have to lose weight in order to get healthier, like I might push that person, but this is where even it depends. Like I might push that person to maybe lose, let's just say 2 pounds per week or whatever it is. And I'm not even going to say like, oh, you have to lose 2 pounds per week. I might just in my head know like, all right, I want to see the scale drop down a bit quicker because they have actual health issues going on that like we need to drop the weight in order to make sure they have better health issues. Right. So like for somebody like that, maybe I do push a bit harder, or like, I maybe give them a bit more things. But then there's somebody who, if you're 350 pounds and you just have really bad habits and you have so then again, you would start with a walk, or you would start with just anything simple, right? So I think it depends on the individual, but it's like a general guideline, losing anywhere from, call it 0.5 to 2 pounds per week, which I'm not sure what that is in kilograms, so I apologize.
No worries. 2 pounds is around 900 grams, so it's around, like we use like 1 pound is 450 grams, so it's kind of, I use, if you think it like a half kilo is a 1 pound, it's almost there. So it's sustainable. It's somewhere there, like pound, depending on person, 1% probably from body weight.
Got it. Yeah. So that makes, anywhere from 0.5 to 2 pounds per week on average. And again, it just depends. really depends on the individual, depends on their previous dieting history, depends on what they're doing right now. It depends on so many things, right? And the way, I kind of just lay things out is I like to track things just for data purposes. So we track our body weight every single day. I don't care about what it does on Tuesday versus Friday. That is absolutely relevant to me. We track it over the period of time. So we take all the data, we get all these data point measurements, and we look at them over a month, over 2 months, over 3 months. Are we trending in the right direction? Which I think is a big eye-opening for people, because I've had a lot of people who were hesitant to maybe weigh themselves every single day, but then they do it and they understand, okay, yes, my weight is going to fluctuate. Yes, I won't lose weight every single day, but from this time last month to now, I've lost 4 pounds, which is a pound a week on average, which is fucking amazing progress, right? So we take our body weight every single day. We'll do measurements every 2 weeks, and I take progress pictures every 4 weeks. We also track our steps just to see how many steps we're getting per day. And that can be a really cool thing a lot of times for people, because normally you can always walk, whether it's inside or whether it's outside or wherever it is. Just getting more steps in, I think, is really cool to track. And then we also just track our strength training workouts. So we track how many reps we're doing, how many sets we're doing, how much weight we're lifting, all that stuff, because there's always the more stuff you track, the more stuff you can win at. Because if you're not tracking your steps, you don't see that in the past 2 weeks you were averaging 3,000 steps per day, but now you're averaging 5,000 steps per day. And that's oh shit, I didn't even, oh, that's awesome, that's amazing. If you're not tracking your workouts, you don't know, I started this program 5 weeks ago, lifting 20 pounds for 8 reps. Now I'm doing 35 pounds for 8 reps. Holy shit, that's a massive change, right? So the more things you track, the more things you can be aware of and change, but also the more things you track, the more things you can find wins. If you're not tracking anything but the scale, it's sometimes hard to find wins. And that would make sense as to why people sometimes struggle.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's what everything, like what you are tracking, you tend to improve. Like if you track your finances, your goal is to not spend more money than you get in. And it's the same thing with the calories. If you tend to track, like that's what I love to, like, I'm not like, especially when I start with some people, like I'm sure you do the same, but you are not giving, or even you give your some kind of guidelines with how many calories and everything. But first goal is, at least for my clients, is that I don't want to they don't have to care about their goals, like just to be aware of what you are currently doing. Because if you are already now changing something, how the hell your coach should know what you have been doing? Like if you have a little bit knowledge, what you're supposed to be eating, and then you come and say that this is what I do. And if you like first to become aware, like learn about a little bit calorie energy balance, how that is affecting, and then like you said, the other things what affects how many steps, they are a lot more effective way like to lose weight than just doing some short workout or app workout from YouTube. So make that high priority for your steps, how active you are. Scale weight is a great, like you said, it's a tool. It's a one way to measure your progress, not the best way. For fat loss, I still love pictures, and tape measurements are a lot better way, because especially in the beginning, there can be many reasons, mostly because of water, that your body weight is not going down, scale weight is not going down, but you are seeing progress. And when you have that data from somewhere else, you are actually seeing that you are making progress, because that is, and ultimately what makes you happy is that you are seeing that you are making progress. It's not about that how fast or how much you are losing weight. If you are trying to get, like I did it this week, or last week, when this podcast is out, was my last podcast episode. I talked about the fastest possible way to lose weight. It's not hard if like I told, like if you cut your carbs, you manipulate basically just the water intake, and it's not hard. Like I can get you down like 10 pounds or 4 or 5 kilos within a couple of days if you want. If you have been doing something, that's not an issue, but it's not going to, you are going to see only the thing, you are going to feel shitty, and you are going to see different number on the scale. You can cut your arm off or your leg off and you see different number on the scale, but it's not going to make you happier.
I agree, dude. Yeah.
And those are like, it's a quick story. I love to, I had a podcast episode with one of my clients, like she had a Skylar. It's, I think, episode 3. It was one of my first episodes, and she had she was actually she was from USA also, and she took part of a weight loss competition, and she actually started to. On that date, she have to be on, I don't know, 150 pounds or whatever, and I was like, wow, there was like not so much time left, and so that, can you help me there? And I was thinking that what I should say. I said that I can help you there. I can't guarantee that you will get there, but I'm pretty sure we will get there. And she decided to start, and actually, what I started to teach her was literally like coming with the bad dieting history, and I started to teach her ways for sustainable fat loss. And obviously, it was not progress. There was some progress, but it was not as fast as it should be. But I said that I know we will get your scale weight if you are willing to do it. We will get it down. Just don't panic. Keep going, doing everything what I say. And there was like a week left or 2 weeks left, and said that I have like a 14 pounds or 15 pounds to lose. Just no panic, we will get you there. And the last 4 days, then we were manipulating just water intake with carbs, with sodium, with fiber, and last, I think, was 4 days, 9 pounds. She got there. She won it, but then it was funny. Like, she was telling me that that podcast episode, like, that was the day when she had her goal weight, and she won a lot of money by doing it. But she said that she felt the worst in her entire life. Like, she was starving. She was like dry as hell. She didn't have any water. But those are like, it's kind of same thing. Like, those people who are boxing or wrestling, have some weight class you have to be on that day. Now I think they have changed it a little bit to more healthier weight, that you don't have like you have a waiting for. I had many friends who were doing it, and it was what they were doing. Like, it's just creating eating disorder, and but using those same methods, you get that scale weight going down, but it's not going. I said that you are going to gain everything back. You're going to feel shitty, and that's what happened. And but she said, let's do it. So this is just it's an example, like for weight loss, fat loss. There are two different things, and you gotta understand that you want to lose weight, but what you actually want is fat.
100%, man. Yeah.
Awesome. So that's was a pleasure. I think we gotta move forward. Our times was a lot fun to have a chat with you, and just to finish this, I would like to know, like, a little bit 2 things outside of fitness. You told a lot of, like, if you don't like follow Eric, go to watch his content everywhere. But what are 2 things outside of fitness that you are known?
That I'm known for?
Yeah.
Sleeping early. I try to sleep by like 8:30, 9:30 p.m. But I do get up early, like 4 a.m., that kind of stuff. So sleeping early. Something else I'm known for. Being very loud and cussing. Those 2 things are probably what I'm known for, as you probably have seen on this podcast. So I think those 2 main things.
Awesome. So then, if somebody, like, what I recommend you should do, go to check, if you are already not doing, like, what is your where you can find you, if somebody want to work with you, where to find you, how to get contact with you. What is the easiest way?
Basically all of my social medias are basically probably just like Eric Roberts Fitness. So, TikTok, Instagram, podcast, Eric Roberts Fitness, YouTube, probably just type in my name, or Eric Roberts, or Eric Roberts Fitness. You can go to my website. I have a ton of articles on my website, just ericrobertsfitness.com. A lot of like my training programs are on erfclubhouse.com. So just like Eric Roberts Fitness, erfclubhouse.com. And those are like the main places.
Love it. Awesome. So if you haven't, I can only recommend to go to check his stuff out. He knows what he's talking about. Like, if you listened until now, you probably got the idea that he is the man. So thank you so much, Eric, for your time, and talk to you soon.